We were talking about the election. So you look at this, and I'm not familiar with, I started watching, I didn't even know they had AG debates. I've never watched an attorney general debate before, but they have one on YouTube with Abraham Hamadeh. So I don't know much about him, but I know the other three. And they portray all of them kind of like MAGA. I think Trump has endorsed all of them. I know the top three very well. But look at this. Isn't this exciting in Arizona? Look at what's happening here. Kari Lake for governor. It's just the primary. So everyone might not make it through. Who knows? I surely support that, but who knows? But Kari Lake won Republican primary for governor. Blake Masters for Senate. I'm going to talk about him later. Mark Fincham. I think Mark Fincham is very underrated. When I listen to Mark Fincham speak, he's very on the nose, very respectful, unbiased. He's impressive for Secretary of State. So that's exciting to me. I always leave room to be wrong. They all will have to prove themselves. But I don't know Abraham Hamadeh yet. So the top three, I like what I see. Hype, pumped to see it. But Meghan McCain's not. Oh, she's not pumped to see it. I don't mean to laugh at someone else. You know, there's no right or wrong. That's all opinion. But that's Abraham Hamadeh, Kari Lake, and Blake Masters. And I had to make sure people keep sleeping on him. I think he has a lot of potential. But he is a perfect candidate for Secretary of State. That is the perfect role for him. And part of the reason they're getting scared is because states have power. So you got Florida that's kind of almost like a gel that's solidifying red, and not just corporate red like MAGA red. They're scared about that. It's kind of weird how Georgia is so different than Florida, but I think it's the immigrants actually. Cubans, Venezuelans. Georgia has Atlanta, large black church that, no disrespect, but they're just walking zombies. They'll do whatever. You know, Jim Clyburn comes in and they're like, oh yeah, or you know, whoever comes in and like, oh yeah, we go corporate Democrat. But Florida's solidifying. Arizona, I don't know what's happening. Arizona's been more purple. So there's a reason why Meghan McCain and other people are really like, whoa, what's happening here? Because this is not a purple thing that these three or maybe four candidates are involved in. Comments from someone in Georgia. Thank you, Dr. Mimo 2526. I live in Georgia. It's shady as all hell in Georgia. And we've seen controversy there. Let's just say that before I get into trouble. Yes, we've seen that. We've seen controversy. After the pregnant Chad thing, they switched to electronic. Yep. I remember. I forgot how old I was. That was 2000, right? Was that 2000? Yeah. So, I still remember the video of them kind of looking is the punch. So the Chad was, I believe, the hole punch, I believe. So if you're too young and don't remember or don't know, you could look it up. They would literally be looking at the ballot, and it would be half punched, and it would be like a hanging Chad. It would be like the ballot didn't punch all the way through, and they had magnifying glasses and everything. It was crazy. So people had to play. You know, people play too much. Guys, you go online. I still contend that Twitter needs to have like a meme search. I know they have a picture search, but I want a meme search. So that's Kari Lake. It's a joke YouTube. Kari Lake with her foot up the ass. Karrin Taylor Robson or whatever. It's weird how, the election's closer than I thought it would be. But she did spend a lot of money. So we'll see. Meghan McCain was excited at first. She was like, if Lake wins tonight, she is currently polling around 10 to 12 points behind the Democratic candidate, Katie Hobbs. That is a lot of runway to make up. I don't know why it hasn't occurred to Arizona GOP that Arizona is filled with independents and free thinkers. There were so many tweets flying back and forth, I didn't get them all. But before, like last night, Meghan McCain was kind of acting a fool when we saw the early results, and Robson was up. She was up with about, I don't know, it was like over 50% coming in. It was 50 to 60%. But they didn't have the same day drop-offs and the same day voters. That went pretty much what I saw, 70%, maybe 2 to 1, consistently for Kari Lake. So she didn't know. And, she should have been watching Charlie Kirk with me. She would have known. And then she switched and she was like, well, Kari Lake will most likely win despite the fact that she was a lifelong progressive liberal, maxed out to Obama her entire life. All she had to do was vomit up MAGA, ultra MAGA talking points, and people bought it. She is a fraud, a conspiracy theorist, and not up to the character of governor. That is the most diplomatic and well thought out diss from Meghan McCain. She's had some really out there ones, some a little aggressive ones, but she had to acknowledge Kari Lake's probably going to win. We probably see what's happening. I thought this tweet was funny because she said that she was a lifelong progressive liberal. Do you know how many people I've talked to that said, I voted for Obama? I thought I was a liberal. I don't even know. I thought I was on the left. I don't even know what I was. I would just say I was blue-pilled. Never really warmed up to most Republicans. Never was against them, though, either. Never thought necessarily anybody was racist or anything like that. But she says this like it's some kind of own. Do you know how many people are out there like us? And not maybe some people in the chat too. Officer Tatum said he voted for Obama. I voted for Obama twice. It's a lot of people. NYC Angry Mom is someone who I started following, unbelievable, on Twitter since the pandemic. Just based takes. This take here, when someone accuses us, this is a leftist, I believe. I hate to label people and mislabel them, but my understanding is she thought she was a leftist, a typical, just a person living their life, not on the right. When someone accuses us of being right-wing now, the only appropriate response is to shrug emoji. To be affiliated with the political left at this exact moment, this one was more recent, but in February of 2022, means supporting the indefinite restriction of human life to revolve around the avoidance of one unavoidable virus. To me, it strikes as she was one of those bear moms. I did a video way back where I showed a video I picked from YouTube of a mama bear getting angry when people were getting close to her and her cubs. That's the vision I get from her. And there was a lot of people like that. And when the mama bears get angry, the papa bears have no choice but to follow. If there's any mothers in the chat, tell me if I'm wrong. When the mother bear gets upset, the father bear better not be too far behind, at least for humans. Perfect examples, Tim Pool. I consider him a classic liberal, whatever. I call him a leftist. People say he's not a leftist. I call him a liberal, whatever. He's not a right guy. Skateboard dude. And Jimmy Dore is a leftist. They're both labeled as right-wing nut jobs by some. It's a badge of honor, Megan. These people are so insulated. They don't talk to regular people. They don't know why Arizona is happening. This dude right here, laid it out like I've never heard anybody lay it out.
You know something interesting? Before COVID, I considered myself more of a liberal than a conservative. But during COVID, I did a lot of research that took me down a lot of different rabbit holes. And this is what I discovered. And it's clear to see. It's clear as day now. You can see it. The liberal agenda is to destroy the innocence and boundaries of children while denying reality by pacifying the imbalanced emotions of people with mental illness. This is what's happening right now. These are some of the reasons why America is destroying itself from the inside out right now. Not all of the reasons, but some of the reasons. I'm more aligned with conservative views than liberal views today. And I'm blown away by that myself.
What a base take. Let me repeat that. I wrote that down just so, because it was so well done, almost like he was a MC or something like that. He said, the liberal agenda today, so I would say the neoliberal agenda, classic liberals kind of line up with libertarians in a way. The neoliberal agenda is to destroy the innocence and boundaries of children while denying reality by pacifying the imbalanced emotions of people with mental illness. Bars. One more time. I gotta hear that one more time.
What I discovered, and it's clear to see, it's clear as day now, you can see it. The liberal agenda is to destroy the innocence and boundaries of children while denying reality by pacifying the imbalanced emotions of people with mental illness. This is what's happening right now. These are some of the reasons why America is destroying itself from the inside out right now. Not all of the reasons, but some of the reasons. I'm more aligned with conservative views than liberal views today. And I'm blown away by that myself.
You got people like, damn, it is really something to think about. When you think about it, it's like, damn, it's like the Overton window. It shifted crazy. So to realize that is really, I was talking to Robbie the Fire Bernstein today, and I was like, man, he was like, how's the channel going? Because I talked to him months ago, and I was like, it's really helped me find myself. That's what it has. That's what it's done. Forcing to articulate these points, to defend these points, or to change your mind. I've never really been more clear about who I am culturally, socially, faith-wise, parent-wise, father-wise, country-wise. Never been more in tune. So I'm actually, there's a lot of negative, obviously, that's come out of the pandemic. I'm actually grateful for that positive. I'm thinking about, well, what if the pandemic and stuff never got crazy? I'm like, when would I find myself? Would I ever have found myself? I don't know. So Meghan, it's not the own you thought it was. When you tried to diss people, Meghan McCain said, keep obsessing over me. Well, let's start with what Kari Lake said. Kari Lake said, Meghan McCain is like a rabid dog who's been cornered, thrashing around. They exchanged words. Then Meghan McCain said, keep obsessing over me like an ex-boyfriend. Q, bitch. Whoa. Why exactly can't you keep my name out your head or mouth? This is daily. Once again, are me and my Twitter account really the most pressing issues for Arizona and their voters? I don't believe that. You know what I would like? This is the before times. This is Kari Lake with Cindy McCain and Meghan McCain. I think it was, does it have it there, 2012? Remember when we actually used to talk to each other? Like it wasn't like a Twitter beef. I'm as guilty as anybody else with that. This was August 13th, 2012. Kari Lake interviewed Cindy and Meghan McCain. That can't happen now anymore. It can, but it doesn't. And we're not better off for it. We got to practice it. We're like how we can't live like this. There's no path forward, and that has nothing to do with politics. There is no path forward if you can't be a Kari Lake and a Meghan McCain. Meghan McCain is perfectly entitled to her views. We can label them corporate establishment shill, dangerous, harmful, hurtful, disingenuous. We can call it whatever we want. She's entitled to that. And people could say the same thing about Kari Lake or any one of us in the chat with our nuanced differences. But if we can't sit down, it's like we're all working at home and Zoom calls and chatting on Twitter. Man, we can't live like this. And that's going to get me into the DeSantis discussion. Trump, the last says Trump derangement syndrome created this. McCain cannot even talk to someone who supports Trump. And we all have to take responsibility. I agree completely. The last, man, somebody's got to be the first person to be like, I'm putting my chair in the middle. You come put your chair and sit down. That's why I really respected the Tim Pool. I always talk about Tim Pool a lot. I mean, it's just, I listen to Tim Pool a lot, so forgive me. And he's great, so I shouldn't even apologize for that. But I just want to explain why. I've listened to like every episode since the pandemic, damn near. Like every episode and after show. It's not healthy. Even my wife knows who Tim Pool is. My wife was, I was watching Tim Pool the other day. My wife was like, were you watching Tim Pool again? I was like, we've never talked about Tim Pool before. I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, what do you mean? I seen you watching him all the time. But, because you can project it on the TV, which is really cool. He's working on the app for the TVs. But I would say that episode he had with Vosh and Charlie Kirk, good. And he's talking about doing a debate or, sit down. It doesn't have to be called a debate. Just sit down and talk every Sunday. We need to get back to that.